Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving into the bizarre annals of history to uncover some of the strangest wars ever fought. From feathered foes outsmarting armies to diplomatic dust-ups sparked by stray dogs, we're about to embark on a wild ride through history's most peculiar conflicts. Get ready to question everything you thought you knew about warfare, because things are about to get very, very strange. Our first stop takes us to the sun-scorched outback of Western Australia in 1932. Picture this: the Great Depression is raging, crops are failing, and to make matters worse, 20,000 emus, those giant flightless birds with a penchant for destruction, are running amok. They're devouring crops, damaging fences, and generally wreaking havoc on the struggling farmers. Desperate times, right? So, what do the Aussies do? They call in the big guns, literally. The Australian military, armed with Lewis machine guns, is deployed to combat the EMU menace. The war itself was a series of, shall we say, less than successful engagements. The emus, masters of guerrilla warfare, scattered at the first sign of gunfire, making them incredibly difficult targets. In the end, the Australian army retreated, defeated by their feathered foes. Next up, we're sailing across the globe to the 18th century for a tale of maritime rivalry, political intrigue, and one very unfortunate ear. This, my friends, is the story of the War of Jenkins' Ear, a conflict between Britain and Spain sparked by a severed ear. The year is 1731. Robert Jenkins, a British merchant captain, is sailing the high seas when his ship is boarded by a Spanish patrol. Accusations fly, tensions run high, and in the melee, Jenkins' ear is sliced off by the Spanish captain. Jenkins preserved his severed ear in a jar of brandy and presented it to the British Parliament as evidence of Spanish atrocities. Public outrage reached a fever pitch, and in 1739, war was declared. Chapter 3: The Pig War, when bacon almost sparked an international incident. For our next story, we're heading to the wilds of the Pacific Northwest in the mid-19th century, for a tale that proves even the most mundane things, like, say, a pig, can become a casus belli if you try hard enough. Imagine this: it's 15 years after the War of 1812, and tensions between the United States and Great Britain are still simmering. The two nations are locked in a border dispute over the San Juan Islands in the Pacific Northwest, a region teeming with natural resources and, as fate would have it, pigs. Enter Lyman Cutler, an American farmer, and a rather unfortunate pig belonging to the Hudson's Bay Company, a British trading company. One fateful day, Cutler discovers the pig rooting around in his potato patch, and in a fit of frustration he shoots it. The British demanded Cutler's arrest, the Americans refused, and soon both sides were scrambling to fortify the island, each side staring down the other. The shooting of this pig ignited a firestorm of controversy. The Pig War, as it became known, was ultimately resolved without bloodshed, but it remains a curious footnote in history. Chapter 4: The War of the Stray Dog, when man's best friend became man's worst enemy, for diplomacy at least. Our penultimate tale of bizarre warfare takes us to the Balkans in 1925, a region already known for its complicated history. This time, the catalyst for conflict wasn't a severed ear, a marauding emu, or even a potato-loving pig. No, this time it was a dog, a stray dog, to be precise. Imagine this: a Greek soldier is chasing after his runaway dog near the border between Greece and Bulgaria. As the soldier pursued his canine companion across the border, a Bulgarian sentry shouted a warning. Shots were fired, and the Greek soldier lay dead. What began as a seemingly trivial incident involving a stray dog rapidly escalated into a full-blown diplomatic crisis. Chapter 5: The Football War, when a soccer rivalry became all too real. Our final stop takes us to Central America in 1969 for a story that proves sometimes even the beautiful game can turn ugly. This, my friends, is the story of the Football War, a conflict so bizarre, so utterly absurd, that it sounds like the plot of a bad sports movie. But I assure you, this actually happened. Picture this: El Salvador and Honduras, two neighboring Central American nations, are locked in a bitter rivalry, both on and off the soccer field. Tensions are already running high due to economic and social issues, and when the two nations meet for a crucial World Cup qualifying match, things reach a boiling point. The matches themselves were fraught with violence, with reports of riots, assaults, and even deaths. The Football War, as it became known, lasted only 100 hours but resulted in thousands of casualties and widespread displacement. So, there you have it. 5 of the most bizarre wars in history, conflicts sparked by everything from flightless birds and severed ears to stray dogs and soccer rivalries. These stories remind us that history is often stranger than fiction, and that even the most seemingly insignificant events can have unintended and often absurd consequences. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the weirdest corners of history, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more fascinating historical insights and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on our next historical adventure.